Hey everybody, welcome to Stitchin' Time with Boise. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is fine. Hope you're carrying on. Salute you with a little ice water here in Houston because it's just getting hotter and hotter down here. Hope the weather's all right where you're at. We're going to start off with, of course, happiness one day at a time. June 23rd, the Unsaid. I just went over this before we started the show, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic. It's been a while since I've actually thought about this because it's actually ingrained in the way I do things. It starts off with a quote from St. Francis of Assisi. It is absolutely useless to travel a road to preach unless you preach the road you travel. It's very good, very insightful. We all learn that an important part of communication is nonverbal. We communicate bodily with facial expressions, hand gestures, a look, a sigh, etc. We are communicating. Actions also communicate important messages. Ultimately, we rely more on actions than on words because words are easy to say but harder to put into action. Goes for me. I'm sure it goes for you. If you're going to evaluate that truthfully, the nail was just hit on the head with the hammer of truth. We need to make sure that our words line up with our actions, or our actions are simultaneously lining up with our words. I evaluate people around me on the basis that their actions must be more than the basis of their words. Reliable and honest individuals keep their words and carry out their plans to the end. Less honorable and honest individuals can say a lot in all sorts of things, but they get very little done. I want to be an honest person who is worthy of trust, and so I seek out to carry my projects as planned and live up to my commitments. To protect my self-esteem, I must apply my principles, and I am true to my word. Actions speak louder than words. We've all talked about it. We're all familiar with it. Some of us actually believe it wholeheartedly. And then we turn around and we completely forget it, completely disregard it when it comes to us. And that's not being honest. So we need to make sure that we're always true to our word no matter what. If you say you're going to pick somebody up, you should be able to pick them up as a simple function. You volunteered for it. If you said that you're able to pick up the groceries and do the grocery shopping, you should be able to complete that task. We got cats. I'll clean the cat box. If you can't do that, why just say you could? People start to doubt you. Little things like that will make people start to doubt you. You could be in a program of treatment and getting yourself sober and not be a person of your word. Little things. And if people approach you and question you, you might get really upset. You might get really indignant about it. You're actually setting yourself up for an argument. That this person doesn't believe in me and this person's always on me. How can I stay sober when this person is always on my case? To ask you why you didn't do what you said you were going to do. You created your own doubt. You create that mystery that, are you going to complete the task? Are you even going to do this? And a severe definition is the same definition for a liar. A liar will tell you one thing and then not do it. Probably do another thing completely opposite. If you say you're going to do something and someone just asks you, did you get it done, or why didn't you get it done? And your first response is, well, you see what happened was, well, I was going to get to it, but you're showing your hand as a person that's not able to complete a task and say what they're going to do. You're going to be viewed as a person who's not trustworthy. Then they might view you as not being honest, and they might view you as being suspect of other things that you don't even you're not even involved with. But at that point, someone's going to say, well, how can you believe her? She doesn't tell you the truth. How can you believe him? He's always saying the same thing and never getting it done. You might think that's a harsh evaluation, but you evaluate everybody else the same way. We all do. It's the only way we use is a lie detector test. You know, besides looking somebody in the eye and seeing if they turn away. Look, if you say you're going to do something, you should at least be adult enough to take care of that responsibility. Show the team that you're able to do it. It's kind of an initiation. It's kind of paying your dues to get your respect and earn your respect. And for some of us, we've fallen so far that we have absolutely no respect. So we need to start somewhere, and that is exactly where you start. That's the most important thing. You got to make sure that people that are closest to you, they're your support network. Be a person of your word. Make sure that you are there and reliable. It's just that important. Like I say, actions speak louder than words. There were many times where I was in a situation using, they're numerous, that I went back on my word. And what it was this, and it was this person's fault, and it was my boss, he held me late, or this happened, or this came up. And, you know, people after a while kind of expected it out of me. And then because I'm a quick talker, it was just words, 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 words. So I put up a whole mountain of words that I could never replicate with my actions. So I was a walking contradiction completely. And nobody believed me and nobody trusted me. And I thought I was a pretty trustworthy person. At least I'm not stealing money off your dresser. But it goes deeper than something like that. I'm a trustworthy person. I'm working. I have a job. I'm working very hard. And then I spend all my money on drugs and alcohol, but I'm still working very hard. Well, I didn't get a chance to go over there to the birthday party like I said I would, but I had to work. No, I got wasted instead. And we heard you were at the Roundup Bar. Oh, well, I just stopped by to pick up a friend. I wasn't, you know. Oh, you were driving. Yeah, but I just got off work. I wasn't really drinking. Well, I had a drink at work, but, you know, it wasn't like I was drunk, okay? So, but then I picked him up and gave him a ride home, and then I went home. Oh, you didn't even go out? No. It's a Friday night. Yeah, I figured it was, you know, I always go out on Friday nights. I just figured this time, I can't even believe this crap I'm saying. That's what we do. That's what we say to people, and people listen to us and go, I can't trust you. And then you can be all indignant and say, well, I'm the one that's shooting you the truth. No, you're not. Your actions aren't lining up. So that's a vague example, but I bet you it's one that you've recited and that you've repeated to your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your coworker. We've all done it. It's time to stop doing it. It's time to actually be a person that they can trust. Be a person they can rely on. Be a person that is the person that somehow becomes the most reliable. Shock everybody. That's the key to it. But it's the unsaid. Sometimes we're not even aware of our gestures. Did you honestly do that? And you're glaring at someone. Our facial expressions say a lot. Our hand gestures, our body language. If we're slumped over and, oh yeah, I didn't get around to doing that. I just kind of felt sick. We're using it as an actor. Some of us are good actors. Some of us are very bad actors. Bottom line is, though, no matter how much you act, what's the result? And that you can't act out of. Either you did or you didn't do it. You said you were going to do it, now you're not, you didn't do it. What's the problem here? These are things that people are going to address to you. And the thing about St. Francis of Assisi, I love this thing. It's absolutely useless to travel on a road to preach unless you preach on the road you travel. In other words, I can say these things about addiction because they apply to me. When I talk to other people and they share stories, I have similar stories. That lines us up as partners in crime, people of the same habit. I know exactly what you're going through because I've done that. Yeah, facial expression. Yeah, I've done it too. It's really embarrassing. I can't believe I did it. Oh, you did it too? Sign of relief. Ooh, boy, okay, great. I'm not much of a preacher. I believe in being sober. I believe that if you communicate with others and if you communicate well with them and you're open and you're as honest as you possibly can be at that moment, people will recognize it. People will appreciate it. People will start identifying you as that individual, not the one that crawled out of the gutter, not the one that slithered out of the wreckage to try to rebuild his or her life. They're going to see you as something, as a before and an after picture. And they're going to see progress, and they're going to see the progression in you. You'll be used as an example of progression. These are going to be other things you're going to have to get used to, because you're no longer going to be the black sheep of the family. I was the black sheep of the family for so long that I always liked that color. Matter of fact, I probably still wear more black than anything else. Maybe I got a Johnny Cash syndrome. But today, anyway, I must be feeling the island feel, the island vibe. Summertime here in Houston. We're only 30 miles away from the ocean. Hey, island time mentality. It's in your mind. Everything's in your mind. How you can create your day, how you can set your day, how you can go about your day. And these are things you do to complete your tasks. These are things you do to say, you know what? I really feel successful. I really feel like I have done something. And I think that's important to a lot of people. It helps you strengthen. It helps you become more than you even plan to do for that day. The unsaid with body language, we read other people. When we're using, we read other people. We look for people who are more vulnerable than us. If we're trying to sell a BS story, we certainly look for signs of them being engaged and leaning forward and buying into it. If their arms are crossed back and they're looking at you down their nose like, oh, you know you're in a sinking ship and it's hard to sell it. So we use body language, reading other people's body languages to see what we're getting at. These are things that we all do. These are things that are common to all of us. And these are things that we should be aware of too. I do it so much that when I read it in the book, I thought, oh wow, you just reminded me of something that I didn't realize I've been really doing or intercepting or even working on, because I do it naturally. I'm definitely a person who believes that your results are what I'm going to grade you on. Your actions, if they line up with the words you say, make me trust you and make me want to go further down the path with you. Whether it's sobriety or just working together. You're a person I can trust to carry your end of the load, your end of the bargain. You're a person that I can lean on when I'm in trouble. Um, we look for important people in our lives, and that's how we judge important people. If they're able to deliver, are you able to deliver? Are you able to be the one that people can look up to and say, you're really coming along. You really are a person of your word. Thank you. Thank you for being who you are. I mean, these are important little things. And sometimes we take it for granted. Sometimes we like to ignore it because we're trying to pull the wool over somebody's eyes and get ahead of the game and make a quick shortcut. There's no shortcuts to any of this. Integrity and honesty, there is no shortcuts. It takes time. It takes time to build a reputation. It takes less time to tear it apart, but it takes time to build it. And you are the one building your reputation right now. You are the one that's joined our community. You are the one that is doing your best to be sober every day and be engaged with your family and your peers and your friends and your coworkers. You're the one attempting to communicate and bridge these communication gaps that have long hindered you from being a success. And whatever it takes for you to get comfortable with that, repetition was a key for me. Repetition in religion might be a key for you. Repetition and engaged in a particular group or meeting might be it. You're engaged with people. You're seeing your development and you're seeing other people's development. And you're feeding off of that development where you actually feel like, my God, this is really going somewhere. I can feel myself being pulled out of the mud and the mire and the muck of my life. This is a sensational feeling and I'm moving forward. I'm actually leaving some of that behind. I'm actually looking over my shoulder and starting to see the wreckage back by me over my shoulder. Soon it'll be in the rearview mirror. Soon it'll even be further down the road, and God, one day maybe more of a distant memory that I can use as an example to myself to make myself stronger and maybe help someone else who is in the same situation as me down the road. You have to be honest. Your words have to match up. Remember that, here's some honest words. If you go back to using, you start back over again. You're back over your own shoulder. You're back where you once were. You're not just brushing it off and going, okay, well, that was just a bad hit, and now I can continue on down the football gridiron. No. You just punted the ball, and you have to try to get the ball back. You start all over again. That's the truth of it, and you don't want anyone to give you any shortcuts like, yeah, it's just a mulligan, don't worry. No. That's the whole thing about honesty and integrity. You've got to make sure it's part of your lifestyle, it's part of the way you do business, it's part of the way that you function in this world. Very important. Really important. Do your best to be as honest as you possibly can. Be brutally honest with yourself, not others. Don't go out of your way to go, yeah, you really have put on 20 pounds. No, that's not honesty. Hey, I just put on 25 pounds. I know I did. Now it's time for me to get back out there walking and get back on the treadmill and get back in there swimming and get back on it because I've been just sitting around too long. Body in motion. Got to keep it in motion. Got to keep yourself in motion. Got to analyze yourself and progress. Progression. Progress forward. Challenge yourself. It's easier to be more honest every day of your life as long as you are honest every day up to that point where you have to be honest one more time. Honestly, it's the best policy. Honestly, it is. And I honestly appreciate the fact that you tuned in, checked in with us. Today's topic, of course, was the unsaid, body language and integrity and honesty. These are the things that build the person you are and the better person you're going to be. So once again, thank you for stopping in, checking with us on Stitch in Time. I'm still Boise. You're still you. I appreciate you very much. I honestly do. Thank you. Peace and love. Peace and love. We'll see each other again on our path to success, our path of sobriety. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.